Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Eric chokes when Ridge sets Brooke on fire. In the CBS serial opera Bold and the Beautiful, Eric Forrester is given a wake-up call by his son, while Brooke Logan fails to stop Ridge Forrester from using foul language toward her daughter. Ridge appears to have supported Carter Walton's argument last week. Brooke, Eric, and other characters were present as Ridge humiliated Hope Logan in front of the audience. Now, there is no retaliation this week. Brave and gorgeous spoilers alert, is Eric Forrester horrified? Ridge Forrester went far beyond what is appropriate in a professional setting in Bold and the Beautiful. His disparaging remarks to Hope Logan shocked everyone. Brave and gorgeous Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan are spoilers. Brooke Logan was the most enraged person. Brooke Logan felt that Ridge had gone too far when she started calling her daughter derogatory names. However, when Bold and the Beautiful focuses on Eric Forrester, they give away something. Eric's gaze immediately turned to Brooke Logan once he heard his kid spit out the profanity at Hope. FC's ascent to prominence in the fashion industry was facilitated by this woman. Above all else, she and her kid are part of Eric's family. B&B spoilers, will Ridge Forrester soon face issues with Eric? How much of Eric's outrage on Bold and the Beautiful last week was due to the takeover, and how much of it depended on Ridge injuring Brooke and disparaging Hope? As his legacy is being torn away from his family, Eric appears to be distraught by this takeover thus far. However, the grandfather of Forrester wed a sister of Logan. You may be certain that he will ask his wife a lot of questions on the way the Logan women at his firm are treated once he returns home. Donna Logan, who is now Mrs. Eric Forrester, has a lot of memories to share because she worked at the Forrester Creations reception desk for so long. Eric is a decent man, as most people would agree, and he also values his family. He also views Hope and Brooke as members of his family. Eric is probably struggling with Carter Walton's remarks from his takeover speech last week as Ridge criticizes Brooke for not siding with Hope. Carter brought attention to FC's pervasive contempt. Brave and gorgeous spoilers, Brooke Logan plays rougher than Ridge Forrester plays rough. The Beautiful and Bold has given the current state of gloom and doom. Eric Forrester is well suited to be attached to his legacy. Viewers' attention will therefore probably turn to the Forrester father and his next move after the focus on the ugliness that Ridge Forrester uttered fades. Spoilers for Steffi Forrester and Eric Forrester in Bold and the Beautiful. However, based to the Bold and the Beautiful teasers, Ridge Forrester left their house last week, indicating that he is well on his way to ruining his life with Brooke. According to the spoilers, Ridge is beckoned to enter a door by a distraught Brooke. Then, in another video, he is shown getting ready to kiss Taylor Hayes. Although fans have previously expressed that this is becoming stale, the previews suggest he will leave the company once more. Thus, he is once again in Taylor's embrace. Eric Forrester will probably find this move unsettling as well. When Brooke and Ridge last had a disagreement, the worried father spoke to his son. Although he loves Taylor, he told Ridge Forrester that Brooke Logan is his true love. In addition to regaining control of Forrester Creations, Eric Forrester may have a difficult time dealing with his family on the CBS serial opera. Ridge is thinking about a new leading lady. Goodbye Brooke, hi Poppy? Updates and spoilers for the Bold and the Beautiful hint that Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan's relationship is being negatively impacted by the circumstances at Forrester Creations. Brooke is quite disturbed since Ridge is very angry and has been saying harsh things, especially to Hope Logan. Their destiny seems to be about to come apart once more. Spoilers for the Bold and the Beautiful, the bridge is broken. Throughout the majority of their adult lives, Ridge and Brooke have been deeply in love with one another. Their relationship has experienced innumerable marriages, divorces, reconciliations, and separations. However, this time feels different because they always seem to find their way back to each other despite the ups and downs. The tipping point may be Ridge's hostility against Hope. Spoilers for the Bold and the Beautiful, Ridge is considering a new leading lady. Hi, Poppy? Goodbye, Brooke? Brooke is different from Ridge, who can ignore his affections for her and his contempt for his own kids. She is a loving mother who puts her child first, and Ridge is now a distant second, thus she cannot remain with a man who abuses her daughter and places the blame on her. Soon, she will begin packing his things and show him the door, bringing an end to their relationship. Spoilers for B&B Single means although many might predict that Mingle Ridge will switch from Brooke to Taylor Hayes, we predict an unexpected turn in his romantic path. He has a reputation for never remaining alone for very long. If our suspicion is right, Ridge's next romantic interest might be someone completely different, exciting, and novel. Think of someone like Poppy Nozawa. Imagine this: Ridge finds himself at a bar, still grieving over the loss of his love and company. He meets Poppy there by chance, and they have a smooth conversation. One drink leads to another, amusing banter ensues, and before they realize it, they're on their way to a bedroom. Even if Ridge and Poppy are no longer together, one extra benefit may be a slap in the face to Bill Spencer, Ridge's longtime romantic rival. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful: could Ridge and Brooke have a new destiny? Ridge will soon realize that Poppy's lively and carefree personality is just what he needs right now, even though the pleasant evening will give way to a little uncomfortable morning. She exudes calmness and optimism in spite of her daughter's incarceration. He will be fully fascinated and prepared to welcome this playful new stage of his life before he even realizes it. Brooke may have a new destiny of her own, choosing herself over a man once more, and Taylor might once more follow in her footsteps. Until he gets sick of Poppy waffles, they'll just let Ridge do what he does best. After leaving Brooke, does Ridge leave Forrester Creations? Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful reveal that Ridge Forrester is acting rashly. Despite her best efforts to be understanding, Brooke Logan had reached her breaking point. She naturally believes that Ridge's remarks regarding Hope are hurtful and that it is incorrect to hold her responsible for the coup at Forrester Creations. However, Kay's persona is certain that Steffi Forrester Finnegan's first suspicion is accurate. Carter Walton is being emotionally manipulated by Hope, according to Steffi, Ridge, and Eric Forrester. They now consider him to be a traitor, and they have no intention of allowing what he and Hope have done to continue. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful: after splitting from Brooke, does Ridge leave Forrester Creations? Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful: I hope Logan wins. Hope's comeback is quite amazing. She was sacked and humiliated in front of Forrester Creations interns and models in the corridor a few weeks ago. Hope for the future has been resurrected with her newfound love by her side. She hopes Zend Forrester Dominguez becomes her primary designer and is certain to see a surge of revenue devoted to her line. It would be an understatement of the year to say that Hope has outperformed her long-standing opponent, Steffi. However, Hope will soon be overtaken by her mother's spectacular return. B&B spoilers: the appointment of Brooke Logan Carter, the CEO, is adamant about his kind of justice. He is convinced that the Forrester family business has kept the Logan family down. Eric, Ridge, and Steffi, who just turned down Carter's plan to transform FC from a pure fashion house to a destination for luxury brands, have strengthened that inflexible viewpoint. Carter, however, decides to disregard the work that the late Stephanie Forrester and Eric Forrester co-founded. FC was founded and constructed by Eric and Stephanie. No, the Logans did not. Because he wants to think that the Logan ladies were harmed over the years, Carter has chosen to disregard historical facts. It is possible to use facts to refute that entirely subjective interpretation of history. Additionally, Carter had to purposefully mislead Ridge and Steffi in order to get them to sign the documents for the legally licensed corporation. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful: does Ridge Forrester walk or fight? Ridge's 8 marriages to Brooke attest to his fighting nature. He has, however, also been out on bail for varied periods of time. Taylor Hayes' patient waiting is a game-changer in this situation. Seeing Brooke and Hope from a similar perspective, her non-judgmental attitude contrasts with Ridge's angst. The Forresters may not be able to swiftly undo Carter's immoral and still dubious takeover. With time on his hands and passion burning in his heart, Ridge was able to turn his attention to all of his kids while giving a pointed nod to the cherished soap All My Children, where he and Budig were formerly cast members. Since it would hit Brooke where it hurts the most, getting back together with Taylor is also very much on the table. Ridge finds love again, but Taylor emerges victorious. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. Ridge returns to another true love while Taylor wins big. According to Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Taylor Hayes and Ridge Forrester are going to get back together. This is going to happen, something that only a few weeks ago he and Brooke Logan would have considered impossible. It was a startling realization of Carter Walton's plan. Hope Logan has been wrongly attributed by Ridge as the impetus behind a hostile takeover of Forrester Creations. In actuality, though, Carter made his own choice. Although Brooke alerted Ridge about the discussion she overheard Hope and Carter having at her cabin right away, she has been obliged to defend her daughter. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. Carter Walton's search for subjective justice. The term justice is used subjectively by everyone who uses it. In this case, Carter feels that the Logan ladies have not received the respect they deserve from the Forrester family. Carter's self-centered analysis particularly offends Eric Forrester. Because St. Victor's character gains the most from advancing the Logans' purported cause, it is self-involved. Eric has earned the right to choose the CEO of the business he co-founded. Eric is the only one who decides what is best for Forrester Creations, not its hired chief operating officer, who was just appointed to a board seat, despite having provided the funding and the inventiveness. Ridge believes that Carter's activities are greatly supported by his newfound love's support, even though his beliefs about Hope's power are incorrect. She, like Carter, benefits greatly from this purported quest for justice. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. Ridge Forrester needs mercy. The business loop of Ridge's life was thrown for a loop. He never thought his best buddy, whom he referred to as a brother, would betray him to this extent. But that's what took place. According to Carter, FC veered off course and was in danger of failing in the end. However, he used deliberate deception as part of his strategy to take over the business. Brooke is unable to provide Ridge with the sympathetic ear she needs. She overheard the alleged love of her life disparaging Hope both in public and behind her back. Brooke will not put up with that from Ridge, but she expects it from Steffi Forrester Finnegan. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. Hi there once more, Hayes, Taylor. It turned out to be melodramatic that Taylor thought she was going back to Los Angeles, California, to spend her final days. She has curable broken heart syndrome rather than congestive heart failure. By reuniting with his other true love, Ridge can accelerate Taylor's recovery. This is no longer just wishful thinking, it is now more than likely. At FC, Brooke has been reappointed as CEO. Taylor has therefore had her best chance to be with Ridge in a long time, unless or until she reverses the tension or it lessens in a way that restores the Forrester family power. Did Steffi show the door while Eric feels revenged in private? Once more, the dynamics at Forrester Creations have changed, and this time, Steffi Forrester is the victim of a power struggle. As a result of Steffi's job at Forrester Creations being questioned, she was abruptly fired. This is a startling development. The patriarch of the family, Eric Forrester, John McCook, calmly watches the mayhem with a mixture of annoyance and validation as the family struggles with the aftermath. As he struggles with feelings of betrayal and the deterioration of the company's ideals, Eric may find that this most recent chapter feels like poetic justice. Steffi's termination from Forrester Creations was not an easy choice, nor was it one without some controversy. The company's current leaders, Carter Walton and Hope Logan, Annika Noel, saw Steffi as a challenge to their power and vision. Steffi became a target because to her steadfast devotion to her father, Ridge Forrester, and her strong disapproval of the reforms put in place under Carter and Hope's direction. Following a heated board meeting, Carter and Hope took action to remove Steffi from her position, claiming that she was unwilling to work with others and change with the firm. The Forrester family and the fashion world at large have been rocked by Steffi's departure. Steffi's contributions to Forrester Creations are indisputable and form a fundamental part of the company's contemporary character. Steffi has played a key role in maintaining the Forrester brand's relevance in a constantly evolving sector with her creative marketing techniques and daring design ideas. In addition to being a personal setback, her dismissal could be a game-changer for the business, which is having trouble striking a balance between innovation and tradition. Being ejected from Forrester Creations is a painful experience for Steffi. Her life's work has been the company, which she has worked relentlessly to preserve. Steffi has always stood out due to her intense drive and competitive spirit, but these traits have also caused her to become a divisive figure in the family. Her conflicts with Hope and Carter, together with her unyielding position on important subjects, have caused divisions that have ultimately resulted in her demise. Steffi is left wondering what to do next and where she fits into the Forrester dynasty as she prepares to depart the firm she helped create and packs up her office. Eric Forrester's response to Steffi's departure, meanwhile, is more nuanced than it first seems. Eric, who founded Forrester Creations, has always been proud of the company's history and the part the family has played in its prosperity. However, as the younger generation takes over, Eric has been marginalized more and more in recent years. There has been conflict between them because of Steffi's unrelenting quest for power and her readiness to question Eric's authority. Although Eric outwardly laments Steffi's dismissal, many closest to him believe he may be privately feeling vindicated. Eric's mixed emotions on Steffi's departure are a result of his long-standing dissatisfaction with the company's course. For Eric, the integrity of the business and the family have frequently suffered as a result of Steffi's boldness and ambition. Even though it was difficult, her leaving may be viewed as a chance to re-establish equilibrium and concentrate on the values that initially made Forrester Creations successful. It's also possible that Eric's quiet contentment stems from a desire to help the next generation learn the difficult lessons he has encountered over the years. Eric's love for his family and his worry for the company's future, however, temper his feelings of retaliation. He is aware that Steffi's departure will leave a big gap in her capacity to connect with the next generation of fashion buyers as well as in her creative vision. Eric is also aware of the shortcomings in Carter and Hope's leadership, despite its audacity. In the end, their aggressive strategies and readiness to alienate important Forrester family members may backfire, endangering the company's reputation and devoted clientele. The remainder of the Forrester family struggles with the effects of Steffi's departure as the dust settles. Ridge is especially heartbroken by the loss, seeing it as a personal failure to safeguard his daughter's interests and a betrayal of the family's legacy. As Ridge tries to make sense of his father's seeming ambivalence and his own sense of unfairness, his relationship with Eric, which has already been stressed by years of arguments, becomes even more complex. Ever the pragmatic, Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, attempts to mediate between Ridge and Eric, but her attempts are unsuccessful because of the high level of emotion. In the fashion industry, Steffi's departure has generated a lot of curiosity and conjecture outside the family. Rival businesses perceive a chance to take advantage of the chaos at Forrester Creations and steal Steffi's talent. Steffi receives offers from rivals who want to take advantage of her experience and industry contacts. Steffi is still caught between striving to regain her position at Forrester Creations and pursuing other chances, despite the allure of starting again. In the meantime, Carter and Hope are under increasing pressure to demonstrate that they are capable of leading without Steffi. Even though they have modernized the company's operations and broadened its reach since taking over, their choice to fire Steffi has caused them to lose important allies and cast doubt on their long-term goals. Since her personal history with Steffi makes her duty as a leader more difficult, Hope in particular suffers from the emotional toll of the battle. Ever the pragmatic, Carter concentrates on gaining control and tackling the issues that lie ahead, but even he is unable to overlook the rising dissension inside the organization. As the plot develops, the struggle for Forrester Creations' soul is sure to provide suspenseful drama and surprising turns. Steffi's search for a position outside the corporation will surely put her fortitude to the test and cause her to re-evaluate who she is. Eric's role in the family and the company will be shaped by his psychological struggle between retribution and atonement. As they work to preserve their past and forge a future, the remaining members of the Forrester family must deal with the consequences of this most recent upheaval. The drama at Forrester Creations is far from ended, in typical Bold and the Beautiful fashion. Viewers will be on the edge of their seats as new friendships, rivalries, and secrets are set in motion with Steffi's departure. It remains to be seen if Steffi can rise above the ashes and regain her position in the family business or if this is the start of a new chapter in her life. The stakes have never been higher, and the saga of the Forrester family is undoubtedly as captivating as ever. After Ridge's heartbreak, does Brooke rush to Bill? Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, is dealing with the emotional fallout from Ridge Forrester's, Torsten K., most recent betrayal in a tragic and turbulent turn of events. Brooke is devastated by Ridge's choice to leave their marriage after years of arguments, misunderstandings, and the constant presence of Taylor Hayes, Krista Allen. Brooke turns to Bill Spencer, Don Diamont, the enigmatic and charismatic man who has previously been both her savior and her demise, for comfort in her sorrow. You can feel Brooke's heartache for Ridge. Even though their marriage was often put to the test by outside influences, familial allegiances, and their own enduring disagreements, she had worked extremely hard to keep it intact. The last straw for Brooke was Ridge's return to Taylor, which ended in a passionate kiss. Even though she has always been a strong woman, this betrayal was particularly painful since it represented Ridge's incapacity to totally dedicate himself to her in spite of their shared past and affection. Brooke contacts Bill when she is at her weakest. A complex past filled with passion, treachery, and sincere moments of connection unites the two. When Brooke calls for help, Bill, who has always had a great deal of affection for her, answers right away. Even though Bill has been working hard to turn his life around and restore his reputation, especially after his many blunders with Katie Logan, Heather Tom, he is powerless to stop Brooke's desire for solace. As Brooke turns to him for emotional support following Ridge's departure, their bond is rekindled. Bill reacts to Brooke's vulnerability with a mixture of empathy and desire. Bill has battled for years to balance his obligations to his family with his love for Brooke. Brooke has always been a sort of ideal for him, a lady of beauty, strength, and tenacity, despite his turbulent relationship with Katie. Bill is deeply moved by her suffering and feels compelled to provide not only his assistance but also a reminder of their former relationship. The question of whether Brooke and Bill's rekindled intimacy is a fleeting diversion or the beginning of a more serious relationship looms large when they reunite. Turning to Bill gives Brooke the opportunity to feel appreciated and understood, something Ridge hasn't been able to offer. Bill sees it as a chance to assume the roles of confidant and protector that he has always loved for Brooke. The possible repercussions among their different families are just one of the many issues that surround their reunion. Any indication of a renewed romance between Brooke and Bill is likely to cause Katie, in particular, to react angrily. After going through years of heartache due to Bill's adultery and his continued affections for her sister, Katie has made a concerted effort to set limits and move on with her life. Katie's personal growth and her ties with her family are in danger of being undone by the possibility that Brooke and Bill could become involved once more. Because Brooke is so conscious of this, her interactions with Bill are tinged with remorse and hesitancy. Ridge, meanwhile, reacts angrily and jealously when Brooke turns to Bill. Despite his decision to be with Taylor, Ridge's complex feelings for Brooke are still present. Her attempt to find solace in Bill's embrace is a sobering reminder of the distance between him and Brooke, which stokes his bitterness and reignites his rivalry with Bill. Ridge's personal remorse for abandoning Brooke and his ongoing uncertainty about whether he made the right decision in going back to Taylor further muddy his feelings. As the story progresses, Brooke and Bill's rekindled bond has an impact outside of their narrow social circle. Personal difficulties leaking into the workplace put further strain on Forrester Creations, which is already dealing with internal strife. Given that Bill's commercial interests frequently coincide with those of Forrester Creations, Brooke's association with him calls into question both her allegiance and her capacity to maintain objectivity when discussing issues pertaining to the company. An already tense situation is made much more difficult by the possibility of professional repercussions. Amid the confusion, Brooke starts to reassess her identity and values. Despite being heartbreaking, Ridge's leaving makes her face the trends in her relationships and the ways she has let the men in her life dictate who she is. In contrast to Ridge's erratic behavior, Bill's constant support makes Brooke question if she deserves a spouse who values her without conditions. As Brooke starts to map out a future that puts her own contentment and happiness first, this self-examination is a turning point in her life. Bill sees his reconnection with Brooke as a chance to turn his life around. Bill, who has long been chastised for his cruelty and self-centeredness, sees an opportunity in Brooke to be the kind of man she can trust. Whether he can actually change will ultimately depend on what he does once they reconnect, whether that means standing up to Ridge, encouraging Brooke's career, or just being a constant in her life. Bill's relationship with Brooke might either confirm his redemption or further consolidate his reputation as a destructive force, so the stakes are high. Viewers are left wondering what will happen to Brooke and Bill's relationship as the plot develops. Can the strain of their past and their family's expectations be too much for them to bear, or can their rekindled bond endure the difficulties they encounter? As Brooke learns to live without Ridge and welcomes the prospect of a new chapter with Bill, she faces a voyage of self-discovery and perseverance. For Bill, it's an opportunity to face the underlying conflicts in his own life and demonstrate that he can be the partner Brooke needs. The drama involving Brooke, Bill, and Ridge is sure to be full of surprises, as is typical of Bold and the Beautiful. The characters must deal with the fallout from their decisions, the effects on their families, and their futures as alliances change and emotions run high. It remains to be seen if Brooke and Bill's reunion is a brief relief from their own heartaches or if they discover enduring happiness together. There is no doubt that the tale of Brooke Logan's tenacity and her search for love will always enthrall and motivate people.